Well, good afternoon, and what a true pleasure it is to be here with all of you on such a beautiful New Hampshire day. Provost Target, thank you, and Dean Budd, thank you as well for inviting me for the honor of the degree. To all the members of the board, present and not present, thank you for everything you do to strengthen our education in New Hampshire. To all the distinguished award recipients and guests, to the faculty, staff, and the entire University of New Hampshire School of Law community, thank you for allowing me to join you today. Most importantly, though, congratulations to the University of New Hampshire School of Law class of 2017. Now, before we begin, I will tell you, you are about to hear from the third speaker who is known to use her hands while she speaks. I learned from an early age what the word gesticulate means because people kept telling me to stop doing it. But I am delighted to join with you too. I also just wanted to thank Professor Sparrow for her excellent advice. I am reminded of a fellow colleague in the state Senate who once looked at a teenager who had come to testify before the state Senate, very nervous, and gave some of the best testimony we had ever heard. And my colleague looked at her and said, "What you just said was clear and true. And that is always what you strive for." And I was thinking of that with your advice, Professor, so thank you. And to Ivan and Connor, thank you so much for your remarks. Ivan, you reminded me that there is such a deep connection between individual freedom and the strength of ideas and the capacity for people to thrive together. So thank you for delivering such eloquent remarks in your second language as well. Quite a feat, so thank you. And Connor, you reminded me that after you get done being a public defender, one of the best ways to put everything you learn and everything you're interested in into use is to run for office. So I hope you'll consider that. Look, we are here today to celebrate your many successes and the journey that you have taken to reach this moment. You've invested your time and energy into building a stronger future for yourselves and in turn for our entire state and nation. For that, I am grateful, and you all have so much to be proud of. But you didn't do it alone. Your family and friends, your advisors and professors, and countless others helped you persevere. Their sacrifices have also contributed to your achievements, so how about another round of applause for them? As a law school graduate myself, I understand the hard work and dedication it took to get to this moment. You have engaged in the collaboration and collegiality needed to practice law, even amid heartfelt and important competition. And you've been exposed to real-world experiences that will truly shape your careers. Some of the most important lessons I learned during my time in law school were the importance of listening to real people and learning about their lives, rather than just engaging in intellectual exercises. What scores points in a classroom is often not as relevant in real life. In a classroom, the law can be about soaring principles and maybe the rules of civil procedure. In the real world, it is about the sometimes gritty and always specific and unique facts of real people's lives. That's a lesson that I have tried to carry into public service as a state senator, governor, and now United States Senator. During my time at Northeastern Law, I worked at the National Prison Project, which seeks to ensure that our nation's prisoners respect the constitutional right of inmates, just about as unpopular a group of clients as you could get. Some of the needs I helped inmates fight for are fundamental. Basic measures to ensure their health, safety, and their ability to serve their sentence free of cruelty or inhumane treatment. Other times, legal skills weren't nearly as important as basic common sense. I remember one case where a colleague who was monitoring a consent decree at a prison in Arizona, she found out that the inmates had been disciplined numerous times because they had started food fights. So she investigated a little bit. Well, it turns out that every time that the prison served canned beets, the inmates would throw them against the wall. Because talking to the inmates, she found out the canned beets were really, really awful. So my colleague, who had small children, suggested that the prison do something that I think would have been obvious to every mother, but clearly hadn't been obvious to the corrections officials. She just suggested they stop serving canned beets. Problem solved, right? But more often than not, the problems that I dealt with were far more serious. I found myself at a maximum security prison interviewing inmates who had themselves committed truly atrocious crimes, but who had also been beaten badly by corrections officers. So I would find myself sitting there considering the differences and difficult balance that corrections officers face, their need to ensure safety while simultaneously honoring their obligation to protect the rights of inmates. That series of interviews and other work that I did at the National Prison Project proved to be challenging at multiple levels. But it was work that helped me develop what I believe is the most valuable asset that any lawyer can have, and it's something you've already heard about a little bit from one of your speakers. That's solid and thoughtful judgment. Over time, I learned that when people choose a lawyer, they're looking more than anything for good judgment. Of course, you have to be technically proficient. You have to be ethically grounded. And as my own law school commencement speaker told us years ago, you need really great stamina. But more than anything, you need good judgment. And your judgment is strongest when you are able to integrate all aspects of who you are as a person and what you have experienced in life with what you do professionally. The more difficult types of experiences you have, the more exploring you do, the better your judgment becomes. Because your judgment is at its best when it is informed by your skills, your mistakes, your triumphs, your education together, of course, with what you have learned from those around you. I can't stress enough how important it is to keep learning from those around you and to remain active and engaged in the decisions that will affect your lives, the lives of the people you represent, and the lives of generations that will come after you. These are not just critical qualities for any lawyer. They are a fundamental duty for every American, and they get at the heart of what it means to be a citizen. And they get at the heart too, by the way, because I know I'm not speaking to an entirely American audience, of what it means to be a global citizen. This was something I learned very early in life and very early in the morning. Because growing up, my family would eat breakfast together most days. And when my father wasn't reading the newspaper, he would turn to me and my siblings and ask us about our plans for the day. From time to time, the question my dad, a World War II veteran, would ask was, "What are you doing for freedom today?" That is, of course, a pretty big question to ask a fourth grader. And it's a pretty big question to ask a law school graduate, too. And while there may not have been much I could do as a fourth grader, it's a question that proved to have a lasting impact on me. It certainly got my siblings and me thinking then, and it still does today. It got us thinking about the world beyond ourselves. It inspired us to think about fairness and inclusion as we went about the business of growing up. Today, you are all thinking about the next step in your professional life. As you do that, I urge you also to consider my dad's question and the critical job that we all share, that of a citizen in a democracy. In every corner of our nation, people are engaging in their communities, standing up for their values, and working to make a difference. Civic engagement can be something as simple as making your voice heard to your legislators and fighting for the priorities and policies that you're passionate about. No matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent, your voice matters. And our democracy depends on you using it. When you speak up about your lives and your values, you have the ability to create real change and impact policies that have a direct effect on the lives of your fellow citizens, and I would add, the lives of countless people around the world. But I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that as attorneys, with your training and your skills, you can help make sure that other people's voices, people who are too often overlooked or ignored, are heard. That's a significant responsibility and a great privilege, and I urge you to take it on. The day after I won my first campaign for governor, I woke up excited, filled with plans about how to move our state forward. I also, because I'm a lawyer, had the sudden realization that the moment I was inaugurated, I would be a defendant in a whole lot of lawsuits. Those lawsuits included one case brought by New Hampshire legal assistants to ensure that women inmates were treated fairly and housed humanely. We needed a new women's prison, and we had for a long time. But when you have a limited capital budget of $120 million to spend every 2 years on all of the state's building projects, schools and courthouses are usually more politically popular than a prison. But the great work of New Hampshire legal assistants and their pending litigation helped me convince our state legislature to invest in a new facility. It's now under construction, soon to open just down the road. Never underestimate the value of engaging with your legislators and with your fellow citizens, of finding an issue that you are passionate about and dedicating yourself to it. Because when you do that, it has the capacity to affect countless others. Every single graduate here today has shown the desire to invest in themselves through their education. Because of your education at UNH Law, you're better prepared to pursue opportunities that will help you craft a brighter future for yourselves and for the economy of your state. And as you embark on the next chapter of your life's journey, I encourage you to continue to take the time to learn about the issues and policies that have a direct impact on your lives and the lives of your friends and families. And I encourage you to engage in our democracy and to continue building on our founders' compact to create a more perfect union. Our nation was founded on the core value that can really be summed up in 2 words: everybody counts. Our founders believed that when we are free to work hard and to follow our dreams, no matter our circumstance or our background, we unleash the talent and energy of each of us, honoring the cause of human dignity and freedom while allowing our country to compete, grow, and thrive. And while we know that our founders didn't exactly count everyone at first, right? They had faith that we would all continue to build a more perfect union, bringing more and more people in from the margins to be included in our community, our democracy, and our economy. The success of our American experiment relies on each generation to build on the progress of the last. That's why your leadership and your commitment is so essential. I ask that you take what you've learned here at UNH Law, the skills you have developed, your good judgment, and find a way to contribute to America's progress. Find something you're passionate about and bring to bear all of your experience and who you are, and advocate on behalf of the freedom and opportunity for others. Keep our founding principles in mind: free individuals who are full participants in their economy and communities can address economic and societal challenges and solve problems in ways that make us stronger. Listen to others and continue to speak out on their behalf and on your own too. If you do, ours will continue to be a success story. We'll all thrive. So again, congratulations, class of 2017. I am incredibly honored to have been asked to be with you today, and I really look forward to everything you will all accomplish together. Take care.